You're listening to WRA 33 Ghost Radio, broadcasting on a frequency between here and somewhere else entirely. Tonight's program is brought to you by Wolfsbane and Sons Fine Candles. Wolfsbane and Sons, for when the lights go out. Good evening, dear listeners. Welcome to another night at the station. I'm glad you found us. Some of you tuned in on purpose. Some of you turned the dial just a little too far. And here you are. WRA 33. We don't always find our listeners. Sometimes our listeners find us. Tonight is a special night. It's our very first broadcast. Or perhaps it isn't. Time is a funny thing at this station. The clocks on the wall say 1933. What I can tell you is this. The phone lines are open, and when the phone lines are open at WRA 33, the calls come in from somewhere beyond. People who have stories to tell. People who need to be heard. And tonight, we have two callers waiting. But first, the weather. Tonight's forecast on the other side. A dense fog is settling over the Memory District. Residents are advised to keep their doors locked and their lamps burning low. Temperatures will drop to the point of forgetting. There is a 90% chance of echoes. That's your weather. Now then, let's take our first call. Caller, you're on the air. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, I can hear you. Oh, thank goodness. I've been trying to reach someone for I don't know how long.
Take your time. You're on WRA 33. The line is yours.
My name is Margaret. Margaret Holloway. I live at 44 Birch Lane. A lovely house. My husband, Edward, bought it for us in 1928. A wedding present, 3 stories, a garden in the back, and the most beautiful wallpaper in the bedroom. Hand-painted, yellow roses on cream. I loved that wallpaper at first. Edward knew I would. I used to trace the roses with my fingers while I fell asleep. But then I started noticing something. Behind the roses, behind the pattern, there were shapes, like someone pressed their face against the other side of the wall and the paper just molded around them.
Shapes in the wallpaper.
Faces, or almost faces. They were always there when I looked from the corner of my eye, but when I looked straight on, just roses. Edward said I was tired. The doctor said I needed rest. More rest. Always more rest. They put me in that bedroom and told me to rest, and all I could do was stare at that wallpaper and watch the faces pressing through. One night I couldn't sleep. The moonlight was coming through the curtains, and I saw her. Not a shape, not almost a face. A woman, behind the wallpaper. She was looking right at me, and she was moving, crawling behind the pattern like she was trapped in it, like the roses were bars on a cage.
Margaret, what did you do?
I started peeling it. I had to get her out. I peeled it in strips. Long, beautiful strips. The roses came apart in my hands. And underneath the paper, the wall was covered in handprints, dozens of them. Small hands, women's hands, pressed into the plaster like they'd been pushing from the other side for years. Edward found me in the morning, surrounded by strips of wallpaper, my fingers bleeding. He was angry. He said I'd ruined the room. He had it repapered the next day. Fresh wallpaper, new pattern, blue cornflowers this time. And that night, she was there again, behind the cornflowers. And she wasn't alone anymore.
Margaret, where are you now? Margaret!
I'm in the wallpaper now. I'm behind the roses. I can see the bedroom. I can see the new family that lives there. A young woman. She's sleeping, and I'm pressing my face against the paper, trying to warn her. But all she sees is the patter.
Margaret, 44 Birch Lane. If any of you listeners happen to live on Birch Lane, I'd leave the wallpaper alone. But then again, that's just my advice. This portion of tonight's program is brought to you by Wolfsbane and Sons Fine Candles. Are you tired of the dark? Wolfsbane and Sons has been illuminating America's finest homes since 1887. Our candles burn for 12 hours, resist even the strongest drafts, and have been blessed by a priest. Wolfsbane and Sons, for when the lights go out. Available at fine haberdasheries everywhere. Not responsible for what you see by candlelight. We have another caller on the line. Go ahead, caller. You're on WRA 33.
Hello? Is this the radio station?
It is. You've reached WRA 33. What's your name, friend?
Thomas. Thomas Crane. I'm on a train. The 11:45 to Ashford. At least, I think I am. I fell asleep, and when I woke up, the car was empty. Every car is empty. And we've been moving for I don't know how long.
An empty train? That's unusual. Have you tried speaking to the conductor?
There is no conductor. There's no one. I've walked the entire length of the train. 12 cars, all empty. The lights are on, but they flicker. And outside the windows, there's nothing. Not dark, not light, just grey. Like the world ran out. I found a telephone in the dining car. I don't know why I dialed your frequency. My fingers just knew the number.
That happens sometimes. Our number has a way of finding people who need it. Thomas, what's the last thing you remember before the train?
I was at the platform, Ashford Station. It was raining. I was late for something. I can't remember what. I got on the train, sat down, closed my eyes, and then, wait, we're slowing down. We're stopping. I can see a platform. There's a sign, but the letters keep changing. They won't hold still.
Thomas, listen to me carefully. When the doors open, you don't have to get off.
What? Why would I? There's someone on the platform. A woman. She's waving at me. She looks like my mother. But my mother's been dead for 15 years.
Thomas.
She's smiling. She's calling my name. I think I'm going to get off the train.
Thomas, what does the sign say?
It says, last stop.
Godspeed, Thomas Crane. The 11:45 to Ashford. I'll have to check the records on that one. And so ends another broadcast at WRA 33. Margaret is still behind her wallpaper. Thomas has stepped off his train. And we are still here, as we always are, as we always have been. I want to thank you for listening tonight, dear listeners. Truly, you may not realize how important that is. Being listened to, being heard. The callers know. They always know. Before I sign off, a small thing. A note, really. Someone called tonight before we went on air, before the lines officially opened. I didn't catch the name. The voice was difficult to place. But they asked me one question. They asked how long I'd been here. I didn't have an answer, and that bothered me more than it should have. If you're out there in the dark tonight, keep a candle burning. Not for comfort, just so we can find you. This has been WRA 33 Ghost Radio, broadcasting from somewhere beyond. Good night.